Here. All right, guys. So it's game week. Every year you kind of have to bide your time. Now you get down to this, and you're probably chewing your nails off to get out on the field. Let's talk first about rotation. Scott, as far as the safeties go, your starters are pretty solid at this point. How about the rotation behind them? You feeling pretty confident about all the guys you've got ready to work in back there?
Yeah, I feel like I've got five that are good enough and ready enough and prepared enough to play. With Exford, Caden Smith, and with Des Frank. So Exford would probably be the first one in. Just given his playing experience and the amount of snaps that he does have, but nonetheless, they all five are going to have a role, and because we're using all of them on special teams, we're going to have to roll them, at different times.
And when you get into nickel stuff, are those the guys typically? I mean, we might see two or even three of them all on the field at the same time, right?
Yeah, there'll be at least three, possibly four, just depending on, our total personnel. But it would be, once we get into our sub packages, it'll definitely be three of them.
Brian, how about the rotation at corner? I mean, anyway, I keep looking at your group. There are a few pups in there that are probably are at least going to be dressed out, depending on what happens, and does somebody turn an ankle or whatever. So talk about your guys and what you're expecting out of your group.
Well, at the corner position is a little bit different than it is at the safety position, to where a lot of times you really don't want a huge rotation. So you really go into the game hopefully playing at least three guys at least. To where you can rotate just a little bit, but not more so playing, hey, two guys, you're in this series and another two in the next series. So with Duck, hopefully me and back and Sherm and Tay, those would be, the main three guys that you'll probably end up seeing on Saturday. With the hoping that Pinckney comes back and is okay this weekend, and if not, then the young pups will maybe get some reps if something happens. So we got some faith in them, and so hopefully we'll keep it simple for them and let them just go out there and play.
So, Brian, let's continue on. So, one of the things I've noticed in doing my research on Georgia is Easton's average touchdown pass last year was 25 yards was average. All right, so that means he was throwing some long balls.
Oh, yeah.
And, if you go back to App's losses, the 3 losses last year, there were some big pass plays in those games that I'm sure you guys would like to eliminate. So in terms of knowing what they like to do with the run and then setting up the pass off of that, what are the keys from the corner's perspective that you're trying to really drill into your guys to make sure that they stay focused?
Main thing is just see your keys and play fast. See your keys and just make sure that you're not trying to do something extra that you're not actually supposed to be doing. So as long as we stay inside and on top of routes and not give up the big one, that gives us a chance to win, especially with our front seven playing as well as they are. If we don't give up a home run ball, that most definitely helps our chances of playing really good on defense.
Scott, then in terms of safeties, which is a little bit different and some different responsibilities and different looks than Brian's guys have, what are you telling your guys in terms of, okay, here's where I need you focused and here are the things you've got to respect on Saturday to make sure that we keep everything in front of us?
Biggest thing is just understand the scheme and who's in the fit, because between one of the two safeties and the two outside backers, who's in the fit and then who's a play pass defender. And if I'm a play pass defender and that's what I'm supposed to play first, then the main thing is not get dirty eyes looking into the backfield, looking at the scheme, the pulling guards and things of that nature when it has nothing to do with me. Now, if I'm in the fit, then I'm part of it. But when I'm not in the fit, then I need to be playing pass and not getting dirty eyes and getting flat-footed because he does have a big arm and he can launch it, 60-plus yards. So we can't play a 30 or 35-yard post technique or half technique. We got to be on top, some really deep balls.
He's turned over a lot of his receivers. He had one guy last year caught nearly 25% of the total passes and caught nearly half of their touchdowns. So he's working his way in with a new group of receivers too. Given that there's probably not a lot of film on those guys, how do you guys prepare for a game like this, knowing that, hey, there are going to be some people on the field we just don't have a good look at before we get out there?
Biggest thing is we know we're playing an SEC opponent, and they signed scholarships to play in the SEC for a reason. So you're going to play against a high-caliber player, regardless of who his name is, what his jersey number, how many snaps he's played last year or hadn't played. the end of the day, they're going to be high caliber type players, and so there's a respect level there just because of who your opponent is.
Brian, in terms of going zero cover or maybe getting up and press, what's the thought on how aggressively you go at these guys? Do you kind of let the game go a little bit and see what comes to you, or do you have a plan walking in from the first snap and you're going to stick with that plan?
Well, it's just a fill-out process because, like Coach just said, the speed of the game is different when you're playing in the SEC. So you may have a guy that we may say, hey, we don't want to press that guy because his speed is a little bit faster than ours. And then you have some guy who, hey, I can press him up. All right, so let's just go to work. So it's a fill-out process. So we'll just see how the game goes and get up there and be a little bit aggressive if we need to be.
Good deal. Thanks, guys. Good luck this week.